very quickly wanted to touch on this. John Harbaugh nearing a deal with the San Francisco Giants to become their next head coach. By the way, Brian Dable has not been mentioned in any coaching circles whatsoever.
I wonder why.
In the National Football League. I mean, it wasn't great, but I mean, come on, man. I mean, like, you're going to hold that against him? Like, the Giants, he inherited a mess, and that's, what it ended up being. That's fair. He wasn't able to do anything with it, but wild to me that he hasn't been at least considered anywhere. But anyways, John Harbaugh nearing a deal after the surprising decision for the Ravens to fire John Harbaugh, now looks like he's going to be in New York. I believe it's a 5-year deal from what we were talking about earlier that the Giants are looking to get Harbaugh on. What's your first takeaway when you see this?
He's a good football coach. He's won a Super Bowl before. He's been at the Ravens for as long as I was like thinking about this yesterday. With Harbaugh gone from the Ravens and Tomlin gone from the Steelers, I think those are the only two remaining coaches that have been in the same spot ever since I started watching football. So that was a little interesting to watch or to see unfold. But no, John Harbaugh's a good football coach. The only thing that he's got to understand is how can he finish games? Because there's a lot of games in the Ravens over the last decade or so that should be wins, whether that's the regular season, whether that's the playoffs, that they've got to win. Is it a player thing? Is it a coach thing? But I feel like when it's that long of time, eventually it's on the coaches because you've got to win these games. It's not always on the players because players come and go. You're the only constant that remains over these failed playoff runs and failed wins over the last 10 years or so. So at some point, it's not always on the player. At some point, it's on the coaching. But I think John Harbaugh is one hell of a football coach. He's better than Jim. Sorry, Jim, I love you, but he's better than you.
Yeah, he's better than Jim. Yeah,
he's a better head coach than Jim Harbaugh. Even though Jim Harbaugh has brought me more joy than you, John, I'll tell you that. And pain, I guess, and pain. But no, he's a good football coach. There's a reason why he got 8 calls within the first hour of him
45 minutes,
getting fired.
Freaking crazy.
I will say this: I think it's a really good fit for the Giants. Am I allowed?
Oh
to say
yeah.
That? Am I allowed to say that the Giants did something good?
100%.
Like, I know that's like crazy to hear, but I like it.
You got beef with the Giants?
No. I had no beef with the Giants. I'm just saying, like, usually the Giants are always.
Oh, they actually made a good decision.
Yeah. So am I allowed to say that? That's what I'm wondering. Am I allowed to say that they did something good? But no, I think with the young core, the young nucleus that they have, and a young quarterback, Jackson Dart, that showed strides in his rookie year, and then you finally give him some real coaching, and a guy that has developed quarterbacks. Let's be real. Lamar Jackson was an MVP. Remember, Lamar Jackson was a running back his first year. Like, dude did not throw the football. He's won a couple MVPs, made a couple runs in the playoffs. Joe Flacco even. But you give Jackson Dart, and then you have a young nucleus, and you already have a good defensive line as it is. So, and there's a couple offensive line pieces in Evan Neal. So there's some pieces. It's a young core. You could argue whether the Ravens are in a better spot or the Giants are in a better spot at this moment in time. But Harbaugh, he's getting $20 million a year, which puts him in the Andy Reid category. I don't hate it. I think it's a good move for the Giants, and I think it's a really good fit. The only issue I would say is it's New York. The media, it's amped up a little bit. There's a little bit of a bigger spotlight than in Baltimore, Maryland. But no, I like
and
it.
if there's someone that I think can control a room, the way that John Harbaugh can, I think it makes it, just that much better for them. And I think that he is the perfect embodiment of someone that New York needs, right? Strong-willed. He's been around in the league for a long time. He can command a room. He knows how to build a roster. I think all of those things are really important, especially in a city like New York and that franchise who, again, like, we forget the Giants at one point were a very, very good organization. Won a Super Bowl in 2008, won a Super Bowl in 2012. And obviously I know that 2012 team, it was more Eli Manning who kind of carried the weight for that team. They just had an inconsistent running game. But when you go back to 2008, man, I mean, that was a team that could pound the rock, and they prided themselves on a good offensive line. They could move the football. And so I think, there have been as much as I love Lamar Jackson, man, I think he's shown a level of inconsistency throughout his time. And I'm not going to put this on Lamar. I think John Harbaugh obviously has some personal responsibility on his shoulders as to how things went during his final years with them. What, one playoff win in the last however many years he was with Baltimore. Well, I was looking at the stat a little bit earlier. Not many. 10 playoff games in his first 7 seasons, and then won just 3 in the 11 years. So not a good mark for him. But I think the thing that I've learned about watching the Harbaugh brothers throughout the course of their coaching careers, whether it be Jim or John, they're both culture setters. And right now, San Francisco. Why do I keep calling them the San Francisco Giants? I'm thinking baseball, man. Come on, I got
You're only a couple
all
months
right.
away, but we're still in
Right.
football mode at the moment.
New York, the one thing New York desperately needs is a culture setter. And I think someone like John Harbaugh certainly has the ability to set that culture and at least get them moving back in the right direction. So I think he's a good fit in New York. In terms of Brian Dable, who knows? I don't know if anybody's really chomping at the bit to get that guy to lead their team, even as a coordinator.